What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we are going to talk about a mover's checklist to Arizona. So, if you're thinking about moving to Arizona and you're trying to get all your ducks in a row, this might be the first time you've ever moved out of state. This might be the 16th time you've moved out of state, but either way, it's a refresher course. So, if you're just jumping on this video, crush up the likes. And also, if you're wanting to join in on these live feeds and you're not getting notified, you have to turn on the bell next to the subscribe button, and then you get notified. Some people are saying they want to get notified when these videos come out. So you got to turn on that bell next to subscribe. See it? Do it? There you go. All right. So I'm going to use the DMV's checklist as well as some other guides from across the internet for moving to Arizona. So wherever you're thinking about moving from, let us know in the comments and we can help dial this in for you. But according to the dmv.org moving checklist, if you guys want to get this same checklist and do it for yourself, dmv.org. That's Department of Motor Vehicle.org. Okay. Type in Arizona. So let's just say hypothetically you're moving in on, December 1st, 2019. You're going to need to update your new mailing address. Okay. So once you know, you have 10 days to do that. It'll even say on the back of the card. If you're going to register to vote, you need to do that in time. Don't wait until the last minute to get registered to vote. You can do that online or by mail or at the actual DMV itself. I went into the DMV and did all this personally because the online stuff was kind of weirding me out. So I just said, I'll just march my happy butt down there. Okay. Now, when you also get here, add to your checklist. You're going to need to change your car insurance from, say, Tennessee or Illinois, wherever you're coming from. You're going to need to tell them, hey, I'm moving to Arizona. I'm going to be in this Phoenix area. If you know you're going to Phoenix, just give them a Phoenix zip code. But the prices do vary depending on where you're moving, right? So when I moved back to Arizona from Hawaii, I found out that my insurance went up. I was like, really? And then it dawned on me, yeah, we drive a lot more in Arizona than we do in Hawaii. So another thing you're going to do, according to the DMV, is update your donor status. Are you going to be a donor or are you not? If you stay up to date with the news out here, you've seen what happened with there was a organ donor out here, one of those places that were doing some really shady stuff. So a lot of people took themselves off the organ donor list. I'm not saying take yourself off it, but just be aware of that. That actually happened out here in Arizona. You can look it up. So Relocation Services, what are you going to need to do for the relocation in and of itself? So you're going to need to find a moving company, or are you going to do it yourself? You're going to pack the U-Haul, you're going to pack the truck, you're going to pack 3 cars. How are you doing this? And so, however you choose to do it, one of the things that I did was I just sold everything, literally. And whatever cash that I had left over, I used that to go buy new stuff. But that was because I was moving from across an ocean. So when you're shipping, not shipping, literally shipping through a ship, not just through a train or a U-Haul, right? But I found it to be cheaper to just sell it all and just move here on a clean slate, just get all sorts of new stuff, or even go to Goodwill or wherever if I needed an end table or something. So order moving boxes and supplies. You might, if you're already ordering things on Amazon, you can use those, or you can go to your next door neighbor and see if they've got boxes when they get a package and start building up your boxes collection, because you're going to need boxes, right? Okay, so are you going to donate your car? Are you going to sell your car? What are you going to do with your car? Are you going to drive it out here, hitch it onto the back of the U-Haul? Are you going to drive it? What are you going to do? You're going to fly here? We don't know, right? So things to think about for your checklist. Rent a moving truck. Okay, that's if you're going to actually not hire a moving company. Schedule a junk removal appointment. Do you have a lot of junk in your house? Do you need to have that arranged? Thank you to the 12 people who crushed up the likes. I see you guys. 41 people watching. Peter Brown, Alyssa T, Uti, Noel, Super Blue, Dude, 280 Zone, and Peter Brown again. There we go. Travel with 5 on a dime, NYC. Nice to see you guys. Yeah, let us know where you guys are tuning in from too. So this, believe it or not, this actually came from Halloween Jack. He was the one who recommended this video. So shout out to Halloween Jack for requesting this video about the checklist. But let's get back to the checklist. So home services. Do you need to purchase renter's insurance? Do you need to purchase homeowner's insurance? Are you buying or are you selling? Are you buying or are you renting? One of the things that we recommended before was if this is your first time in Arizona, you might just consider first 6 months, just rent. Get familiar with the area. See if you really do like it. See if there's an area that you'd like better than another. So you don't end up in a long-term commitment, you know, in this area that's like way out in the boonies that you're like, wow, this is not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be over there. So that buffer period of 6 months doing a rental can really end up being a good thing, because you get to find out if that's where you really want to be. But some things that you're going to have to do to think ahead about, because when you move into your apartment or move into your home, whatever the case may be, connect your internet, connect your cables, your satellite. What are you going to do? You know, do you need internet that day? Can you have them arrive the same day? Maybe the next day? You don't want to end up on a waiting list where they say, oh, well, it's going to take a week to 2 weeks to get out here. When I moved out here, it was a brand new house. They didn't even have fiber optics cable installed yet. So I had to wait 3 weeks, but there was nothing I could do about that. Are you going to do a home security? Home security, you can almost do yourself. I would say, to be completely honest with you, home security seems like a rack. You get trapped into these 3-year contracts and there's no getting out of it. So I was just, you know, I was one of those guys who got the people knocking at my door, and my neighbor, he told me, he's like, don't do it. And I did it anyway. And then the guy, you know, they make it sound like, oh yeah, if you ever need to get out of it, you just pay a little bit of a fee to get out of it. No, they want the whole thing. So home security, if you're going to do that, just set up the cameras yourself and set the alarm yourself. Some of these cameras even come with it, but just something to think about. But if you want the professionals to do it, you can do that too. We already talked about your utilities. One thing that you're going to want to make sure you're going to have lined up is your trash and recycling pickup. Because if you don't call those guys, you're going to have, especially when you're moving, you're going to have a lot of trash on the side of your house or in front of your house. And unless you're willing to make the trip to the dump, try to get that set up. That's one thing you want to make sure you get set up, is the trash, the electric, and the water, for real, ahead of time. And so some of you are like, oh yeah, I remember that too. Some of you guys are like, dude, tell me something I don't know, right? So are you going to have excess? Do you need a storage company, right? But I recommend selling a lot of your stuff if you can. I mean, you know, that old TV, I'm pretty sure you don't need to bring it. But if you really need that old TV because it's an antique, go ahead and keep it. And so that was the dmv.org. I'm going to check some comments. So how to bring pets, Chicago to Arizona. So you want to bring pets. Can you drive them out here? For the most part, Arizona's a really easygoing state. Thank you to the 21 people who already crushed up the likes, 51 people watching now. But pets, pit bulls and stuff like that, it's a really easygoing state with pets and stuff like that. So if you're a gun owner, that's another thing. This is a really friendly state for gun owners. I know that always comes up, but if you're a gun owner and you're moving to Arizona, you're going to be like, man, dang, they're going to let me set up a whole damn fleet out here, or a whole damn arsenal. Anyway, so let's see here. Noel says, good, I don't want to live in a state that ruins my car. Yeah, so that's another thing, though. A state that could ruin your car. I mean, if you have some of the older paint jobs and you leave your car out in the sun, it does bake. I mean, the sun is wicked hot in the summertime. So if you can utilize a car garage or a cover, or even, some way to cover up your car. They even recommend getting waxes about every 6 months. So in Hawaii or in California, you have the problem with the oxidation from the ocean. Out here in Arizona, the baking hot sun. It'll even crack your, if you got one of those sunshades, you want to put that up, because it'll even crack your dashboard. Nowadays, they make dashboards a little bit better than they used to, but another thing you can do is put some Armor All on your dashboard to help it from cracking, but that kind of stuff can happen. YouTube says cats don't travel well in the car. Yeah, that's true. I don't have a recommendation for long distance travel with a cat. I don't know yet. Anyone want to chime in and give her a hand? Give YouTube a hand. I'll put it out there. Brian Schwartz, is Anthem nice for a young family? Yes, Anthem is very nice for a young family, honestly. Noel says, it'll crack your gooch if you sit on a black leather seat that's been in the sun. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I actually did a leather treatment on my car yesterday, because I don't even know if it's fake leather, but, I treated it because I know about how the sun can really put some wear and tear on stuff like that. So thank you to everyone who said where they're tuning in from. Stuart says he's tuning in from Sun City and also Metro Chicago. Dorothy from Chicago. So we've got a lot of people tuning in from Chicago. Chicago in the house, huh? The Chicago. I was looking at this video about people, the Chicago's skyline. It looked like they were planning some new skyscrapers, and I was thinking, should Chicago be doing that with as much people as that are leaving there? So Brian Schwartz, he's from Chicago. The Dirty Knobs from Chicago. Elena Israel, she's from Kentucky. So we do have a Kentucky person here. Dorothy says Chicagoans are upset with the weather today. Oh, okay. So people from Chicago are watching because they found out Arizona was 86 degrees basically all week. 85, 86. I mean, it's been beautiful mornings, beautiful afternoons. I think for like a month now, we've been really spoiled with great weather. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. What's up, Valley Girls? Portland, Oregon. Okay, so I'm moving into the next stage of the checklist, things to consider. So for health insurance, if you're looking to move here and you need health insurance, you can go to the website ehealthinsurance.com. They've got a lot of information for people about Arizona. So they've got Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, Arizona Public Health Services, CFHS, and they're a community and family health service, provide the essential components of public health to communities and families throughout Arizona. Directory of public health resources. So I think this ehealthinsurance.com should have some of the answers you're looking for. You've got Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona. That's a really popular one. Cigna Healthcare of Arizona, Bright Health, Better for HealthNet, Oscar Health Plan Inc. So healthcare can be covered pretty easily. Now, if you're looking for medical marijuana and you are coming from a state that was recreational like Colorado or Washington, this is a state that is actually medical. So you have to have a card in order to do any of that stuff that you want to do with that. I'm putting that out there. I know not everyone does it, but SB 1494, a new law signed by Arizona Governor Doug Ducey earlier this month. The 200,000 plus patient caregivers and dispensary agents in the state now have new rights to safer medicine and will get a new patient registration system that's only half the cost it was before. So it was $200 and some odd to do it. And they said it's going to be about half that. That went into action June 10th. I don't know the exact amount, but the card fee is currently $150 per year. It's or $75 for SNAP. So since the fees will remain the same to obtain a card, the new law's 2-year provision cuts those costs in half. All right. So that's something to keep in mind. You're going to be if you're a medical marijuana patient, that's what you look for. SB 1494. So State Bill 1494, that'll give you the information you need to know. That passed on June 10th, the provision. As far as other things, we already talked about things to do before you get out there. Are you going to have someone moving with you? Are you going to be doing it yourself? Give your back a break. Make sure you take care of your back when you're doing this stuff, especially as you get older. You don't want to throw out your back and then be screwed over on the way down. Another thing you can do is consider hiring a house cleaner to help you get settled in after about a month. Hire a maid service to come in and help you do that. So I'm going to check some more comments here. Phoenix's fastest growing city in the country, says Tara Moody. All right. Stuart said, drove from Chicago. More Chicago people on this chat than I'd ever imagined. So Chicago is big here. Darren Crock, have you ever been to Chicago, Jeff? You don't know anything about Chicago. I went to boot camp in Chicago at Great Lakes. That was about it. And then I went to school after that. No, I don't know much about Chicago, Darren, but I don't know why you would say that. I don't know if that matters. Nick Sutton, I fly commercial. She should be able to fit under the seat in front of me. Okay. What's up, Michelle? Stu says, I'm crushing up these likes here in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee and Chicago, they're pretty close, both on what? Lake Michigan, right? So that's pretty good. What places? Okay, Darren says, boot camp, try living there. Okay. I might. My dad was born in Chicago, but what was the point? I wasn't saying anything bad about Chicago. I was just noticing there's a lot of people on here who are thinking about moving to Arizona from Chicago. So that's interesting. But go ahead, Darren. Tempe, what are you trying to say, Darren? I like Darren. Darren's funny. He's the resident, in case you're new here, Darren is the resident pessimist. He hates Arizona. It's funny because he always says something like that. But let's see. Noel says, Darren, I would say cry me a river, but it's so damn cold in Chicago, your little baby face would freeze. There you go. Darren says, if you're single, move to Tempe. He's probably accurate about that, actually. Tempe or Scottsdale is a really good, South Scottsdale, Old Town Scottsdale is a really good place to be a single person because you're right there next to Arcadia. You're next to Old Town Scottsdale. You're next to Tempe, Mill Avenue. And it seems like most singles kind of congregate around Tempe or South Scottsdale, which are just the only difference between Tempe and South Scottsdale is you cross the Rio Salado, the bridge, right? So it's pretty close. Walter says, is Old Town Scottsdale safe to live in? Yes. Now, again, no place is completely safe. I mean, welcome to 2020 or, 2020 in what, 1.5 months. No place is completely safe. Not even, what's the safest place in America? I haven't even seen the latest list, but South Scottsdale for the most part is pretty safe. It's not crazy like you're not going to get, you might get mugged, but the chance of getting mugged in South Scottsdale is pretty slim compared to most places, I would imagine. Brian Schwartz, what city is next to Gilbert? So next to Gilbert, you have north is Mesa, west is Chandler, east is Queen Creek. South is South Gilbert, the mountains, the Santan Mountains. Darren Kroc says, Fountain Hills, safe. Yes, Fountain Hills is safe. It's next to the Fort McDowell Native American reservation. Oh, what is the next Gilbert? You want to know what's the next city that's going to be like Gilbert? Peoria moving northwest is moving fast. My brother was just out. If you haven't already joined our group, my brother posted some pictures of Goodyear, which is on the west side, out in, I think he said Estancia. You'd have to join our group living in Arizona. I'll post a link here, but I don't have the actual information. I just saw he was out there, and he was saying that they've done a nice job with incorporating the mountains into the community with the new homes. So there's a lot of mountains out there in this area of Goodyear where they're building. I think it's Estancia Mountains. And what they're doing with the homes is they're building them in such a way where everyone gets a mountain view, or majority of the homes get a mountain view. Like out here in Santan Valley, we have nice mountains, the Santan Mountains to look at, and the Superstition Mountains and whatnot, and the Usury Mountains, but they've the houses are so close, stacked on top of each other, you can't get any view of the mountains. So all you see is just your home, all the homes around. Those are the mountains that you see, not the actual homes, are the mountains. All right, so Hustle Cannabis, what's the main, that's what he said. That's his username. Sorry, his username is Hustle Cannabis. What's the difference between Oro Valley and Catalina Foothills? Okay, so Oro Valley is on the west-facing side of the Catalina Mountains. Catalina Foothills is on the south face of it. So this side, so imagine this is the Catalina Foothills, right? Oro Valley over here, Dove Mountain over here, Catalina Foothills here, Tucson south. So from Oro Valley, you would have to go directly south, but you can't really see Tucson from Oro Valley. From Catalina Foothills, you're perched up above in the foothills, literally, of Catalina Mountains, and you can see Tucson pretty much from anywhere, any road that starts driving right into Tucson. So Catalina Foothills is on the south-facing side of the Catalina Mountains. Oro Valley is on the west-facing side towards Dove Mountain. All right, Scott Glick. Jeff, do you think Queen Creek will be the next Gilbert? How long do you think it'll take to get to that status? Well, so Queen Creek is kind of a small area, but if it annexes and incorporates all of Santan Valley, so let's just say Santan Valley is no longer really called Santan Valley. This is fast forwarding 10 years. So Santan Valley now becomes a part of Queen Creek. So they still have Santan Valley, but most of it gets annexed out by Queen Creek. If that ends up happening, I would say anywhere between 10 to 20 years. You look at 20 years ago, Gilbert, 20 years ago, obviously a different time and a different era, but 20 years ago, Gilbert was, you know, up and coming, kind of like where Queen Creek is. Queen Creek is a healthy, hardy community. It's really far away from everything. I'm still waiting to hear if they're going to build a freeway, which, you know, they haven't exactly laid out any plans to say they're building a freeway straight in. You know, right now you've got Hunt Highway. The thing that concerns me the most about the growth out here in Santan Valley, or Queen Creek, if you want to call it that. I mean, you could call it the same thing, Queen Creek or Santan Valley, because it keeps getting annexed. Like Encantera, it got annexed out. It was a part of Santan Valley. Now it's a part of Queen Creek. These street corners, as they continue to grow, they become Queen Creek all of a sudden. They're just crossing the county line. So that tells me that also the fact they never actually incorporated Santan Valley tells me that they're probably going to annex a lot of Santan Valley. So we're talking, yeah, Queen Creek is definitely on pace to potentially do it a little bit different, but learn from some of the mistakes that were made in places like Gilbert and Chandler, and maybe even be a step above what Gilbert is. I don't know. It could happen faster than 20 years because the growth out here is so expansive, so explosive, so much growth, literally. Like I said, these freeways, these highway systems, Hunt Highway and Gansell Road, they just keep getting bigger and bigger. And they're going to, it's going to get to a point where if they keep growing like this, they're going to have to do an emergency freeway build, because these freeways, these highways they have, Hunt Highway, we're talking absolutely crazy traffic, and it's unsafe. So that's something to keep in mind about Queen Creek. I mean, it's safe, but the growth is happening so fast that it's blowing up. It's literally one of those cities that's blowing up. Without a freeway connecting it, that's a scary thing, because they need to build a freeway down here like yesterday. And the city planners, they should be scrambling to do so. And if they don't know where they're going to build it, they better know. They better find out. And if I was a city planner, I would feel a fire under my butt to figure out how I'm going to build a freeway to Queen Creek, Santan Valley. All right, Greg Hawk, what's the best city for a single guy, 46, that wants to be closer to the west, looking at Surprise? Yeah, Surprise is good. The video said the cops there are a mess with the locals, too much. Any truth to this? So did I say in a video that the cops in Surprise are a mess? I don't think the cops in Surprise are any worse than anywhere else, unless you mean someone else said that in a video. But thank you to the 37 people who crushed up the likes, by the way. Surprise is a really good option, a really, really good option. And like we were saying earlier, you might want to consider taking a look at Goodyear. Island B says, I think those areas south of downtown Phoenix are basically like Echo Park in LA and the Mission in San Francisco. Lots of brewing potential and upside. Yeah. Noel says Tucson to Greg Hawk. What would be the next option around there? Thank you. So you could also consider looking, if you're talking Northwest Phoenix, take a look in Peoria, the Arrowhead area. So it's called Arrowhead. That's the community out there. And then there's Vistancia, just that whole area. Let me take a look at the map so I can see if I can get you some pretty good options. Surprise is going to be more in the city, closer to closer to Glendale. But Peoria is going to be closer to a place called Wickenburg. So Wickenburg's used to be kind of way out in the middle of nowhere, but they're starting to grow Phoenix on the US 60 from Wickenburg down to Sun City. And that's going to form like a belt, kind of like what's going on north from New River south to from New River, Anthem, all the way down to North Phoenix. Those kind of areas are building around the mountain there. That's the Lake Pleasant area. And in that area, you have Vistancia. So take a look at the village of Vistancia. It is far away. It's probably going to be more families. And you did say that it's being single, you want to be around people to date. I would say that the closer you are to Sun City, the better off you'd be. So now I'm not 46 and I've never lived out in Sun City or Surprise, but the best place to be single in all of Phoenix, as we said earlier, is going to be Scottsdale, Tempe, just that area, Arcadia, Paradise Valley. That's a really good area to be single. And then from there, people usually end up getting married and moving out to one of the suburbs like Surprise. Or if they're retired, they go to Sun City, and right next to Sun City is Surprise. So, but you might consider Peoria. So Surprise of Peoria. And then if you wanted a beautiful place, you go Peoria Village at Vistancia. So that's how you could do that. All right. So let's see here. Nick Sutton, I suggest checking out Google Earth time lapse. It allows you to satellite imagery every year going back to 1984, says Nick Sutton. Thank you. Peter Brown, I heard Peoria, Arizona isn't that bad. It's nice. It's nice. Peoria is nice. It's close to Lake Pleasant. Like I said, Phoenix is growing up towards this place called Wickenburg. If you guys haven't already checked out, go on a map and look at Wickenburg and then see what kind of communities are being built around Wickenburg. But in between Wickenburg and Sun City on the US 60, you have places like Whitman. Now, I'm not saying move to Whitman, but in 20 to 30 years, you'll see places like Whitman and Morristown. They'll start popping up and becoming something as they start to build up against those mountains out there. You know, another area that if you got it's kind of like what New River once was. New River is right next to Anthem. So thank you to the 43 people who crushed up the likes. And Darren says, no, South Phoenix is nowhere near comparable to Echo Park, Los Angeles. That's an insult to Echo Park, says Darren Kroc. Okay. Yeah, so people are asking why I'm not so ambitious about downtown Phoenix. And it's not that I'm not ambitious about it. It's not that even the city planners of Phoenix aren't ambitious about it. It's just you can't really compare it to Los Angeles or any of these other places because downtown Phoenix, for the most part, has already seen its heyday. And the areas that appear to be emerging are like Tempe Town Lake. For example, the Rio Salado area, which is right next to Arizona State University, that is more of the area that's getting a lot of the city planners' attention in terms of build. So there's high rises being built all around. I don't know when the last time you guys were down on Rural and Rio Salado Parkway, right there next to Arizona State University Sun Devils Stadium, right? You go right there next to Mill Avenue. They have probably 5 or 6 different high rises under construction right now. You go to downtown Phoenix, there's no real urban renewal taking place. I mean, there's small stuff here and there, but it's almost like downtown Phoenix is on the verge of going away outside of just being a financial district. It's really hard to get any sort of life down there because people don't really want to live down there. They're trying to get Roosevelt Row going, and I'm open to opinions on downtown Phoenix, but you go west of Central, it's no man's land. I mean, they've got Encanto, which is a nice neighborhood. It's old, but it's even considered not very safe. And you have Coronado, another neighborhood that's not considered safe. But like I said, I'm open to ideas on that. Scott Glick says, Island B, yes, it's nice. I go down there for lunch sometimes since I work in downtown. Sushi sandwiches, salad bar, etc. All right. Talking Stick Resort in Scottsdale. Okay. Let's see. Hello. We are looking to get horse property in Chino Valley and Prescott Valley and also Verde Valley. So all three, or are you just looking at those 3 locations to buy horse property? You'll probably get your best price in Chino Valley. Chino Valley is going to be more out of the mayhem that's about to take place in Prescott Valley and Prescott. Prescott, back in 2008, right before the financial slowdown, Prescott was getting ready to build like a corridor, a big highway corridor, like they have an Anthem, and it was actually going to be the best master plan community in all of, I think in America, or at least in Arizona at the time. And then the financial slowdown happened and they stopped it. But Prescott was really getting primed up to grow massive. And so Prescott Valley at some point is going to take off pretty big. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd say Prescott and Prescott Valley is kind of primed for a big surge. If it's not already happening, it's starting to happen right now, actually. But Chino Valley being so far north of Prescott and Prescott Valley, you got to drive through that, meandering highway corridor to get there. Chino Valley is probably a good place to be with horses because you'll be out of that urban sprawl that's going to occur in there. Oh, the air quality in Phoenix isn't that bad. I mean, no, I don't think it's that bad. They say we got some of the worst air quality in the world or in America. Like they said, Salt Lake City has worse air than Arizona or Phoenix only. But I mean, every day, at least out here at Queen Creek, it's pretty good. Downtown Phoenix is okay. I mean, I could see why they would say that, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. It used to be worse than it is now. Pupsteroni, I'm avoiding Phoenix because of pollution. Is it really that bad? Thank you. I don't think Phoenix pollution is that bad. I don't know, though, what counter they're using. They could be using some sort of pollution counter. Phoenix. Let me see. What is it? Does Phoenix have smog? Arizona's largest metropolitan area is 8th in the nation for high ozone pollution or smog. The ALA gives Maricopa County a failing grade for ozone with more than 90 days of dangerous smog levels recorded from 2014 to 2016. Okay. Let's see. Once again, Prescott, Arizona is ranked #1 by the Arizona Lung Association for the cleanest air in the U.S. So they're saying the cleanest air is in Prescott and the 8th dirtiest air is in Phoenix. By the looks of the air out here in Queen Creek, for example, it's pretty clean. I mean, it's cleaner than it used to be. I'll say that. I mean, I would say it's gotten better, the pollution and the air quality in Arizona. I mean, I remember coming down what used to be called Squaw Peak Freeway. It's called the State Route 51. You know, you come through what's now Patswaw Peak. You come right over that, and you dip right into the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, from Paradise Valley or North Phoenix. And as you're coming through that freeway, you used to be able to see like this layer of soot that used to build up over Phoenix in the 90s, 80s and 90s. And it's no longer like that. So it's gotten better. All right. So coming from somebody who's in downtown Phoenix daily, it's coming along nicely. Tons of luxury developments, entertainment venues, breweries, etc. Also much cleaner and less homeless compared to LA. So there's Scott Glick. He's giving you guys information on downtown Phoenix. We have jet fuel in the air. We have a lot of jet fuel. We get a lot of planes into Sky Harbor and Mesa Gateway, actually. Peter Brown, North Scottsdale's air quality wasn't bad at all where I've been out there. My asthma and allergies were not an issue at all. There you go. So, all right. So let's see here. Anyways, just want to make this video. Thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes, and we will see you guys next time. Hope this video helped out some of you guys who are looking to do your moving checklist. It was at the beginning of the video. And also let us know where you're tuning in from, where you're thinking about moving from in the comments so we know where everyone's tuning in from. And like I said earlier in the video, if you're trying to get notified when these videos come out so you can actively live participate in these live feeds like you guys were asking, you have to turn on the bell next to subscribe and you get notified. You tune in. We'll see you guys.